Would you believe that this is our 1 year anniversary?
I think today actually makes 365 days, like right now.
That's insane. Hey, we're going to take you through our journey of the things we've learned, the things we want to continue to contribute, and damn, we're here. It feels like we've been rocking for at least 2 years, and it's only been a year. What are some things that you learned with this pod that you didn't expect to learn? Or what were some surprises that you bumped into that you didn't really expect? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Celebratory podcast with Taylor and Travarus. And would you believe that this is our 1 year anniversary? 1 year anniversary. It was a year ago. We was in New York. We had our photo shoot and recorded in person the same day. We're going to take you through our journey of the things we've learned, the things we want to continue to contribute to the game, the surprises, and all the things in between. But before I continue, Taylor, how are you doing?
Doing great. This is, normally I come on here and I air my grievances. However, I do not even have any grievances to air this week or next week or any other week because I'm lit. Life is great. 10 out of 10. How are you doing, Travarus?
I feel good. We had a little meeting and talking about how the fam is doing, and I'm so excited that my daughter is growing up to be, she's about to turn the big 3 very soon. My son is sitting there chunky with my face but light skin. And yeah, life is good. I have no complaints. I am super excited for this episode because I think when we very first started, we were like, when we a year in, we're gonna be doing this and doing that, and damn, we're here. It's really interesting how it feels like we've been rocking for at least 2 years, and it's only been a year.
It's only been 300. I think today actually makes 365 days, like right now.
That's insane.
Type shit. We've made it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, I know, confetti.
We gotta insert that clip of Tyrese that was like, congratulations. You know what I'm talking about?
Something going on with Tyrese. We can talk about that another time. But because this was not my first podcast, and I had a little bit of experience with podcasts, and I had a pod with my friends a few years ago, but this was your first podcast. As a co-host to a podcast that is a year old, what are some things that you learned with this pod that you didn't expect to learn? Or what were some surprises that you bumped into that you didn't really expect?
How much work it is.
Right.
I thought that I was just going to get on here and yap because that's what I'm good at. I'm good at yapping. Everyone knows that I will talk your ear off. And I thought that I was just going to be talking, but I did not realize that there's a lot more that goes on than just yapping all day or for a couple hours a day. The having to post on social media. Believe it or not, y'all, I don't post that much. Yeah, my social media may say otherwise, but when it comes to posting, I don't really be wanting to do that. And to really have to schedule out your posts to make sure that you are engaging, and that not only are you scheduling posts on one platform, you're scheduling posts across 4 platforms. Which is something that I've done in the past, but I left that in the past. So really getting ramped back up was a thing. Just making sure that we're always talking about the pod when we're meeting people.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing of just really breaking down the clips, being really specific. Also, with people having stuff to say in the comments, and then Travarus telling me not to respond to them. But if y'all don't know, I'm a hothead sometimes, so I feel like I have to respond to them.
Engagement is engagement.
Engagement is engagement. Yeah, but the people I don't like ignorance.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I can't wait for them to catch on to season 3 and have more to say, because we caught a little steam season 2 with people really engaging. I think that was pretty cool to see. Whereas season 1 was getting our feet wet, and I think we're kind of establishing who we were, figuring out what kind of clips we like, figuring out times and the way. And then season 2, we had guests, and we were very intentional about who we had and the conversations we wanted to cultivate. And the people responded, whether people were like, yeah, this is dope, or like, this doesn't make any sense. Engagement is, the algorithm cannot tell if it's positive or negative. Keep on chirping, boy. Keep on talking. I'm fine with that.
Run your mouth. Thank you.
Facts. Yeah, okay. Back. We'll talk back. It's fine.
Yeah, next time maybe you should comment back, because I feel like my comments don't have the same heat. I was trying hard, but I'm not really a get back type of girl. I like to get back at you in silence. I don't really do all that rah-rah back and forth.
Yeah, because it's not necessary. Sometimes you gotta hit them with a one of those emojis that are, like, confusing, and they're like, "Huh? What? What?
Maybe I should
What?"
start doing that. Just dropping
Just
random
respond in
emojis
emojis.
in the comments.
Yeah.
Imma hop with that, Imma hop with that. But yes, that is what was surprising to me, and I mean, I'm sure has there been anything that you have found surprising in your second round? Since, I mean, again, you have done this before, but you doing it with me and, like,
Yeah.
us doing all this other stuff, what's been surprising to you? I would love to hear.
The reach. So,
Mm,
I think our mission statement was helping folks like us, young Black professionals navigating the corporate workspace and tech adjacent spaces. And I had a friend from high school who was my boy. I haven't heard from him probably like 20 years. It was like, yo, you're back in Jersey? I'm like, yeah. He said, yo, listen, I love the pod. I would love to come like have lunch. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. He raved about the podcast. And I was
period.
like, and it made me feel like, A, let's not limit who we're talking to because we don't know who our message is landing with. Number two, I'm like, people are listening. Then I have some other my friends who supported the other pod because we're Kappas and they're like, oh, this is cool. But I have friends now that are engaged in our
Mm.
content. Like after the episode, like, yo, I love this. Never thought about this. I'm sharing this with so and so. And also the gentleman that we met with, we had that meeting with. And it's just like the reach that we're having with this podcast to me is incredible because I think it's doing its job. It's beginning to reverberate with the right people at the right frequency. And it makes me feel like this is what we did it for, to get the ball rolling, to help folks to demystify the things that we may take for granted.
You know, I also that is something that surprised me. I knew that people would listen to it, but to have people like DM me and be like, "Hey, I loved
Yeah,
when you said X, Y, and Z on the podcast." I'm like, "Oh, you really sat down and listened to it all the way through."
right.
And to know that it's having a positive impact, I think that's always something that I never take for granted, especially now when there's so much content out there that's just not helpful. I really value what we do here, and bringing a laugh or some resources or information to other people. I think that's so important, especially correct information. Let me say that
Yes.
it's so important right now.
Can I say my favorite thing? I do enjoy our dynamic. I knew that it was going to work. I knew it was going to work, but like the intergenerational plus you being an old soul, me having a younger spirit, it really works. Like we can literally talk about anything, and I think that it's
We do be talking
palatable
about
for
it.
folks. We really do, and people could chime in and listen and feel like I like what they got going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's another big thing. I mean, to the point of you telling me we should have this podcast because of the way we have conversations. I knew it was gonna be fire. I knew that when the mic turned
Yeah,
on, that we were gonna feed off of each other, and it was gonna be a 10. And I feel
yeah.
like also the fact that we can crack little jokes here and there. I
Hmm.
still be cracking on you. I was looking at your shirt today. I was like, of course he repping his fraternity or whatever. Anyway, but we
I mean,
will.
when you gonna put some AKA stuff on for the people? Because why not?
Shout out to my sorors out there. My AKA stuff, you know what happened? Never mind. I'm not even gonna tell y'all what my dog did to my AKA stuff. That's a whole nother
No,
yeah. Anyway,
not okay.
she a
But
poodle.
to be very clear, I had to re up on everything that I'm wearing is almost new. Like I had to re up
I can
on
tell
everything.
that I can tell that's new. When you
Yeah,
got that? 2 days ago?
last week. But no, the dynamic is great, and I think that that's not always guaranteed, right? Like you can be best friends with people, and the conversation may not flow off camera. I mean, on camera like it does off camera. Like it's not a guarantee that it's going to sync up and match.
Well, shout out to us, man.
Facts.
But okay, I wanna ask, we've had a lot of different conversations on this podcast.
Mm,
We've talked about manipulation, we've talked about money, we've talked about how we've grown up. Like I feel like we've really just kind of touched almost every end of the spectrum. We can get a little
facts.
there's more to come, y'all. So make sure you tune in. But in regard of the conversations that we have had, what's something that you've rethought because of one of those conversations?
The Vex conversation to me stands out
Mm.
in terms of, and that conversation was about, he's a Gen Z expert. He wrote a book on Gen Z, has a company that Taylor has partnered with, Pedal. His perspective on job searching for the Gen Z, saying if you could order DoorDash and your food comes to you, why can't you have a job in a similar fashion. Like, why does it take so long to get a job these days? Why can't we be innovative? And that had me. I sat with that for a while because it's so right now, right? Like
Mm.
some of the systems that we use are archaic until somebody comes through to disrupt it. And I think for you to be partnered with that company makes sense. For him to bless us with that conversation was like really dope. So, and it kind of speaks to me. I try to be as creative and innovative as possible. So I was like, yeah, why does it take this long to get a job or to interview? And nah, why can't brands partner with individuals and sponsor them to get jobs? Like, I think that's a brilliant concept. For those who haven't listened to the episode, is episode with Vivek of Pedal. It was from season 2. So that was one of my favorite episodes.
Love, okay.
How about you? What's an episode that made you go back and was like, or give it a second thought? Maybe you're driving in your car when you listen on the other side. Like, what made you feel like,
I will tell you the episode that I think of consistently is the episode that we did with Ryan, which is the one for those
money?
who have not listened yet. It's about money and financial
Hmm.
management and investments, like really just like more so the basic stuff about money.
Yeah.
And to me, it was one of the things that he said. He was like, the bottom of your pyramid is making sure that you have paid off your debt and that you have a savings account, like a
Hmm.
rainy day account. And I've been thinking about it. I'm like, I did all this shit backwards. I'm like, I got hella investments. I'm like, but my rainy day account looking a little slim. I'm like, I need to stop swiping my credit card. So I've been trying to really reflect on the fact that I'm doing well, but like it's some pieces I put the puzzle is made, but some of them pieces that look like they're in the right spot, they may need to be rearranged.
I mean, but that's also something one of our bigger themes, which is self awareness. And I think this
Mm.
we can reflect on the things that we need to improve on because we can reflect inside, like, damn, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And because nobody would expect if we are bringing Ryan on here, who was an amazing episode, we bring him on here. People may assume that we have all of our shit together. It's like, nah, we learning when
No,
he talking. And
no.
he like, oh, I'm not shit. All right, bet.
It
Let
was
me
when he told me
jot this
that, like,
down.
when you know something, but like you don't want to believe it until someone else says it to you.
Yep.
That's what that episode was giving. And so I've been thinking about it specifically. For those who don't know, I'm 24. I'll be 25 next year. Like still young, but I'm trying to. I believe in getting my shit together.
Facts.
I ain't trying to be just out here doing anything. So it's really made me reflect on like how like my basically the split of my money, like how much is being invested versus how much is being put in a high yield versus how much is going to paying off debt. I've been reflecting on that. Have I made any changes?
It's on the way. It's
It's on the
pending. It's
way.
downloading.
On the way.
It's
We definitely need
downloading.
these sponsorships. If you would like to sponsor us, please email us at info@caretoelaborate.com. We will
Your ad
we
here.
will get
You
back
can
to
be
you.
right here.
Okay? You look,
Right
we
here.
can get you a commercial break, and this could be your commercial break. You know what I'm saying? Tap in with us.
That's it.
Black on business.
Speaking of transitions and changes, because this is your first podcast and you have probably been able to peep the growth from day one to now, how would you say that our on air camaraderie has built from day one to now? Like, have we talked over each other? Did we have to get that right? Did we have to leave space? And how do you articulate from day one to now how we've had to like merge styles to bring it together?
If you want my honest answer, I don't really think we've had to change shit. like
I don't think so either.
I was like, as you were asking me, I was trying to think, and I was like, the only thing that we've had to do to like really switch it up or adjust is like instead of you opening every time, there have been some times that I open the podcast.
Yeah,
Like other
yeah.
than that, I don't really we feed off of each other. We know what questions to ask, like we know how to keep the
Hmm.
conversation going. I don't really I think the biggest thing that I've seen is I will say because you have more experience, you are better at than me at like coming up with stuff off the top of your head. You be quick. I be having to think
Hmm.
a little bit longer when it comes to asking, specific questions like right off the dome. But I think I've also been able to learn how to do that better because of you. Because sometimes I'll be like, wait, I'm like, how do I want to word this? How do I want this to come off? Whereas with
Yeah.
you, it's like immediate. So I think that's something that, we haven't had to fix, but that's just something I've learned from doing this with you, like how to do that better.
Well, number one, I appreciate that. Number two, I don't think I didn't come off that way. I felt like I think that not only a podcaster, but a public speaker or a good interviewee, one of the things you have to be, I'm sorry, interviewer, you have to be good at is pivoting on a dime, active listening, hearing things, taking it in, and being able to
Mhm.
say, well, this wasn't on my list, but this is a good avenue to go down. You had that day one, like from early on. I felt like our first and second episode, we're just riffing, and I'm like, oh nah, she got it. And I think that's a very hard thing to do because most people are system, right? Like they have a system that works for them and they stick to that. I think one of my superpowers is like you can put me in anywhere, any kind of conversation, I can flow. And you have that exact same skill set. So I appreciate that you saying that you learned that from me, but it didn't feel like you had to ramp up with that at all.
You're just so I feel like I've been good at it because I have done moderated different panels before, but I feel like you are really good. Like I feel like I'm
Oh, thank
good,
you.
but you are really good. So I've been trying to take what you do and implement that elsewhere because to your point, I did not realize that people be bad at moderating until someone told me that I was really good at it. And I was like, this is everyone not moderate this
Yeah.
way. And apparently some people just do not know how to moderate conversations, which I was appalled by.
I'm gonna take a pivot from celebration to another conversation that I had with somebody. I
See,
won't
look
say
at
their
you
name.
pivoting right now. You're doing it in real y'all saw that real time.
So I had a conversation with someone and I asked them very specifically because they were very talented, but it is inherently who they are. I asked them, have you separated your talent from your personality? Meaning the way that she shows up is just authentic and people value her for the way that she shows up, but that is a real talent and sometimes you cannot separate the two because it's who you are, right? And when you talk about moderation, you might not be able to delineate what you're doing well versus who you just are. So have you been able to see your talent versus how you just show up inherently?
This is a good question, and I don't think I've ever considered this because for me, it's people that tell me that I have the talent, but to me, I'm just here.
Just who you are, right?
Yeah, it's just a part of who I am. And so to your point of
Hmm.
like saying, is that who you are inherently? Yes, because I don't like I haven't trained or like this is not something that I train to do. This is just something that is a part of me, and I feel like I've always been told that, and I've always been
Hmm.
grateful that that is something that comes across to people because oftentimes I don't even know that I'm coming across that way. Like people will say stuff to me, and I didn't even realize that I was doing it or that I was
Yeah.
doing it well per se because it's just how I talk or how I would go about the situation or how I live my life. So I didn't realize it was a talent until I was directly told.
There's a point where your personality ends and talent begins
Mm,
because when somebody goes to hire you for something, let's say you're interviewing people who interview well, that's a skill that they've learned and there is talent in there. Their talent is to convey what they've done in
that
previous
storytelling,
roles,
that messaging.
right? That's the storytelling, but it may be natural to them. They might not have to work at it, but I ask that question going back to the original question because I'm a creative, right? I just said I'm a
You are.
creative person. And then you start slicing the avenues of how I've been creative. I'm creative in conversation. I'm creative at work. I'm creative the way that I think about the way we can approach. I helped out damn near plan my wedding.
He creative
I had a
everywhere,
clothing
y'all. He
line.
make clothes, write books, he do
And the
Jesus.
book put me over the edge. And to me, because I'm like, all right, this is not something that was in your wheelhouse. You just decided you wanted to do it and you just did it, like front to back. Since we're here, I'll show it to you. Go.
Let's take a moment for Travarus's book.
It's called My Shining Star: Daily Bedtime Affirmations for Your Brightest Star. It's a book to read to your kids. Is to continue to have your kids be affirmed.
But you don't only
It's
have to
two
read it to your
parts.
kids. You can read it to your niece,
You
your
can read it to
nephew, your
everybody. You can
dog, your
read it to
cat.
everyone. And it's twofold. I'm not going to spend too much time here. It's twofold. There are some people who do not know how to affirm themselves, but they are willing to want to affirm their children, their niece, their nephew, their dogs, right?
I affirm my
It
dog
is
every
a
day.
it's a two-way street. Your affirmations don't know or don't care if you believe it or not yet. It's going to seep in. The analogy that I give is the ground has no choice but to absorb the rain when it falls down. It just absorbs, just science. The more you say positive affirmations to your kid, you're reading these books, it will deposit into your psyche, right? You're just going to begin to say it over and over. If you read the same book to your kid 30 days in a row every night, you're going to start to believe that stuff about yourself. And it's simple, little rhyming things. And like the first pages, twinkle, twinkle, shining star, I love you just the way you are, right? I speak these words to you each day to light your steps and guide the way. As you just continue to just say these things, they're just depositing in you. So I could do a whole other episode on the creation of the book.
Wait, hold on. See,
What?
this show psychology. You was a psychology major, wasn't it?
Yes, I
Mhm.
was.
That was
I was.
obvious in that moment. Yeah, okay. I just
Because I
wanted I just
think that
wanted to make sure they knew.
it's important to put medicine in a candy, so to speak. And there are people who do not know how to manifest. They don't know how to affirm, right? But if you would love to affirm their kids or their niece or nephews, so if you read the book, it might be three ways. You're reading the book, so yourself is working on you, and then you're reading the book, so it's working on the kid, but eventually the kid will be able to repeat them to themselves so they can read it on their own.
Mm,
So that's the goal. And I don't know how to find a way to make that short and sweet, but
I will read it.
when creating the book, I began to realize, oh, this is talent. Is it in me? Yes. I just figure out a way to determine, okay, step one, okay, step two, and step three. And I ask people who I feel like are very talented, do you know where your personality ends and your talent begins? So for those of you out there listening, ask yourself, do you know where your personality ends and where your talent begins? I think that's a very important crossroads.
Wow. I need to reflect on that myself because obviously I did not know the answer. Seems like I need to do some reflection myself. But I want to ask, so you talked about what your book is and how that
Yeah,
honestly is a high point for you. I mean, you've reached the height of your I mean, it's probably more juice in there. Y'all Travarus get
it would
ideas
be.
for millenniums, but you have reached your current height of your creativity right
Yeah.
now. So this is one of your highest points. But what
Mhm.
has been a low point for you this season? I know this season has been the course of a couple of months now, but what's been going on?
So we're saying this season of life or this season of our pod?
Mm, I will leave that up for you to interpret how you want to take that.
I mean, I would say this season of life. I'll tell you very plainly, my son was born in May. Before he was born and before I went out, I had real workplace trauma. Real. I was burnt out. I was over it. I was not motivated. I was going through it. I needed to be on paternity leave. Like I needed to breathe. Like I needed that break. I had been going through years and literally years, 4 or 5 years of just
Okay, who you telling?
right? And I needed to, and then it got to, and then it got to a point where the change was so constant. I got numb, and I stopped feeling. I stopped being ambitious. I stopped. I just was going up the wrong stream. It just didn't feel good. So I was burnt out, and I wasn't. I'm not sure how good at my job I was. And this is 6 months ago. On the other side of that, coming back to work, I feel so much more refreshed. I'm back in my bag. I'm back with energy. I'm back with ideas. I'm back with energy to execute. I'm back with energy to dream again. Right. I know people don't associate dreaming with corporate, but the kind of mind that I have, I like to imagine the possibilities of what can happen when I put my, when I manifest and put my work plus my vision, and hopefully something will shake. So I'm back being hopeful again because man, dark days, dark days.
Shit, maybe I need to take a. No, I ain't trying to have no maternity leave. Maybe I need to
Oh,
take
this,
a sabbatical, some leave of absence, because
I
I'm
mean,
drained too. I be getting home, I be like, Lord.
it's real. It's real. And this is not to be dramatic at all. It's literally like my son was born. I worked 2 weeks after because I wasn't ready. I didn't feel
Mm,
comfortable allowing myself to leave. Now, here's the real shit, right? Like, all jokes aside, working in tech and working in any corporate space in this environment, people still not getting jobs. I had this irrational fear of getting laid off,
me too.
right? So I
It's
had
not
all these
irrational though.
feelings,
It ain't irrational.
and I had all these feelings in the ether that just fading. And I'm just like, I'm about to go out for 4 months, and all my I's not dotted, my T's not crossed. So I worked 2 weeks after, up until my son was about 2 weeks old, and I got all my situation together. I know that my out of office doc was pristine, but I needed it to be that way because I had this fear that something's not going to go my way, and I was just like, nah, let me just take care of everything. But yeah, it was real
Mm.
fucked up, but it was that's what it
I
was.
mean, you and I'm glad you really got that time for yourself because I think we don't talk about this enough. We've done a episode on like, mental well-being and, work-life
Hmm.
balance. But once you get to that point where you lose ambition, like there
Yeah.
is truly nothing to bring you back from that than a break. Because I mean,
Yes.
of course you can go to a different job and, do something else, but at that point, it's so much has been taken out of you that, the only thing that's going to pour back into you is self-care.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that you were able to take that break because I've heard a lot about people nowadays like taking voluntary sabbaticals, like
Hmm.
not given to them, but like people are taking leaves of absence right now because just mentally they cannot deal, and especially with everything going on in the world. I mean, I really am just happy that everything fell in place and in line for
Yes.
you at the right time, so that you could take care of yourself and come back feeling like you, if not the better version of you.
And no, you're not. You're perfectly said because when your generation was like God don't play about me. God be having me in tune. Like
Amen.
sometimes I don't know until I'm on the other side of the
Mm.
testimony, right? So I knew that I was suffering, but I didn't know how bad it was until I had the break. And then, as fate would have it, on the other side of that, not only do I get my stamina back, but I got my creativity back.
Woo!
You feel what I'm saying? Like
Dou
that is my thing. That is
a double win.
right. So once I realized that like I feeling creative again, I'm feeling like it's almost like having an injury and then you go on the field or the court, you're like, oh, I can move smooth now. That's how I felt when I'm like I'm beginning to dream again and think about things in a certain way. And I think that that's important for me. But asking you a question in terms of we've done, I don't know, 30 some odd episodes at this point, and you were finding your voice in the first, I don't know, 5 or 10 episodes. Let's say the first 5 to 10 episodes, you were finding your voice. What would you say you're finding or you have found in the last 10 episodes?
Hmm, good question. In the last 10 episodes, I feel like when we first started this, I was very worried about saying something wrong.
Mm,
Or being too honest, and that's normally not something that I worry about, but in a podcast I feel like I be putting it all out there, and in the beginning I could feel myself, even if it was subconsciously, some of it was conscious, some of it was subconscious, but I could feel myself being weary of saying too much, or just saying the wrong thing, or saying something that would be detrimental to me in the future, because I wanted to be honest, but I also wanted to be cognizant of what I was saying. I feel like as we've done this more, especially this season specifically, that I've opened myself up to being more authentic, and also being more truthful about my experiences. I think before I was being truthful, but I was kind of beating around the bush for some things, or like
mhm,
sugarcoating here and there. Whereas now I think I've just been putting it all on the table, and I feel like that's the beauty of something like this, is the fact that you and I are telling the true story. Like y'all getting it real raw, uncut,
for sure.
the facts of what we go through on day to day. I mean, Travaris, you just shared about your paternity leave. Again, we've
Mhm,
talked about anxiety on here. Like we
mhm,
really have tried to keep it real, specifically, from season 2 onward. So I would definitely
facts.
say these last 10 episodes have been really about putting it on the table.
You know what conscious of? I'm not even sure this is the word, like archival.
Mm,
Does it stand the test of time? Is it timeless? I think our conversations are timeless. I think our conversations, you can pick this up in 2035 probably and be like, yep, that's happening. And maybe things that we're talking about don't have names yet. And right, and us being not first, but maybe the best to talk about these things. And I think that we chose this niche because Taylor and I could have did a pod about damn near anything, but for us to choose this niche about work and intergenerational and our experiences, I think is very intentional and specific. That I think that we can relate to so many more people. And for the most part, it's like we just waiting on people to find it. You know what I mean?
okay, share, like, subscribe.
And sometimes I heard this quote, which relates to the book a little bit, but I won't get into that. From one of the co-founders of LinkedIn, he said, "If you're not embarrassed by your first product, you waited too long." I don't
Mm,
think that's the case for us. I'm not embarrassed by anything we put out, right? And I think that's special. That is not normal. V1, version 1 of any product launch is usually trash.
yeah,
You
shit.
can see the
Basura.
glimmer, you can see the glimmer of like, oh, they got something, but sometimes the execution is not good. I feel like we've been on top of our shit
We've been
since day
dropping
one.
gems since episode 1.
Facts. Facts. So that's how I
Mhm.
know this thing is special for sure because we just keep getting better. You know what I mean?
Y'all wait till season 10. Then what?
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
By then you might be Doctor Falls. Who
Who
knows?
said I was gonna get my I have been thinking about getting my PhD though, because all of my friends getting their PhDs. So
See?
I can't be the only one without a doc. That just don't even sound right.
And if you get yours, I gotta get mine.
So you know what? Let's go toe for toe.
Yeah, we got that.
Mm-hmm,
Got that.
mm-hmm. Tit for tat, toe for toe.
You know what I mean? We gotta
We
change the name of the pod to care
doctors
to
care
yeah,
to doc.
doctors elaborating.
Let's say yeah.
We're gonna figure it out.
Wait a second. Okay. So
Amazing.
see. And we have talked about a lot of shit. We have talked
Mm-hmm.
about the jobs, we've talked about code switching. We even talked about graduating into a recession and COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Which Jesus, I mean, how like
We
how we
made it.
both graduate at the
I
worst
don't
time.
know.
Like
I
what is
don't
that
know.
all about? But I want to take us back for a couple of these questions. I really want to hit on some of our previous episodes and how we came about some of the stuff that we were saying. We really
Yeah,
dropped
yeah.
some gems for sure. And if you haven't listened to these episodes, I'm gonna plug it again. Go back and listen.
Please.
Okay. But one of our quotes from which episode was this? I'm trying to remember. But the quote was that job was never gonna save you. How did we get to that line? What were we? Did you say that? That was you said that.
I think so, it was a mix of both of us because we were talking about that loyalty that people have, that
Mm,
blind loyalty that people have, the generations of how before us people just worked a job and they just was going to keep going and they did like they worked at a job for 30, 40 years. That ain't going to happen these days. And then how people get in to tech specifically and they're making good money and it becomes their identity.
yes.
And it's like if you're corny, if you're not talented, if you're not, this job will not save you, bro. There's nothing like you have to have an identity outside
Outside of
of
your
the
job.
workplace. You have to. And people who have this, I'm a Googler, like, bro, your name is Ralph.
Bruh. Oh my God. I hate when people, bruh. That is one of
You're
my
Ralph.
top pet peeves. You know, if you work at Google, you work at Amazon, whatever, whatever, that is great. We
It's
love that.
amazing.
But that
Yep.
should not be all that you talk about. Please
Mm-mm.
talk about something
Mm-mm.
else. Because as we have seen, Microsoft be laying people off every other week. You really never know if your job is going to come and go. And if everything about you is attached to a brand that don't have your name on it, what are we
And
doing?
that also speaks to one of your favorite topics, which is you gotta have a brand. Gotta have a
Personal
personal brand.
branding.
A personal brand.
Mhm.
I got a question for you. This was one of my favorite conversations. What did you think when we said code switching is a survival skill, but who's left behind is who we master it? What did you think? What did you think when we were talked about code switching and all the aspects around that?
This one is a hard one for me because, the more I talk to different people, the more my perspective expands on this. And
Okay.
to your point of it being a survival skill, like I am very much so against code switching, especially in today's time where, people are literally having to code switch to survive. I
Yeah.
hate the fact that we have to do that. And it honestly irritates the hell out of me. The fact that people are having to speak a language different than they normally speak or talk in a different accent than they normally talk just to survive. But to your
Yeah.
point, it is a survival skill specifically right now. And it is important that people are aware and cognizant of that.
Facts.
But when you say who's left behind when we master it, I think the biggest thing, is once you code switch so much, I feel like it becomes harder for you to decipher, are versus who you are actually versus who you are in
Yeah.
this moment right now.
Those who get lost without doing it in an intentional way.
Right. And it's so easy, especially when you're in a corporate environment where it's kind of forced upon you to do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like people start to feel like they cannot be successful without that. And so
Hmm.
then their success becomes tied to a version of themselves that's not even them. And I feel like when you get to that point, it's like, who are you?
Who are
Because
you?
you've been lost because you've had to assimilate to a certain place. And I've had these conversations with people that are like, I literally have to code switch in my job to keep my job. And I always ask people, like, this is a privileged thing to say, but is that even somewhere where you want to be? And
No, you
I've
cooking.
had
Keep going. You cooking.
this
Keep going.
conversation with a lot of people, and it really made me reflect on my privilege of, like, I am in a place where I don't have to do that. I have been in places where, if I have to code switch or if I can't be myself, I can just leave. But a lot of people don't have that luxury. And I feel like that's something that we really need to make sure that we talk about specifically here, is the fact that for some people, like, they have to code switch to survive, whether that's in day to day life, as we see out in these streets where people are getting arrested on a day to day basis by immigration agents, or whether that's at work. Some people may work for the government, some people may work in different industries where it is something that they have to do in order to keep their job. And it's just quite unfortunate. That's my biggest thing that I can say, is that I hate that it has come to this, but I do understand why some people have to do it.
I ain't gonna lie. You smoked that. That might have been your the best rant you had on the
I've been
pod.
thinking about this one a lot. This one has really been sitting heavy on my heart. Especially, I did a panel a couple months ago, and I was talking to a lady that worked in the government, and we were talking about code switching, and she told me,
Hmm.
like, I have to code switch at my job. She was like, it is. She said, I hate to say this, but she was like, it is a privilege that you don't have to do that, and it really made me think.
Yeah, and that goes back to the for me. It's like God be looking out for me because I've only been in spaces where I was allowed to spread my wings.
Right,
And I think going back for those who haven't heard the episode, we had a 40-minute conversation about where do you weigh, where do you side of the aisle do you think about code switching, and what we came to the realization is it is a survival skill. We shouldn't have to do it, but nobody looks at people who wear church clothes on Sundays as weird. You are wearing a uniform for the environment. Like you are being appropriate for the setting. And once we look at it from that lens, it's less about losing yourself and more about preparing for the environment you're going to be in.
right.
Only if you are intentional, right?
And if you can
Those people,
separate the two.
yes, if you had the ability to understand, I am tweaking this and I'm tightening this up only to make sure that get this paycheck every other Friday.
Mhm.
When you begin to schmooze and you taking this same voice and tone and whatever to the bar to do happy hour with these people, it's like, bro, you are a cornball. you you're a loser. Because some things ain't because all money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. But
And ain't.
our code switching episode was incredible. I'm not gonna lie. So y'all should want to go back and check on that too.
Go and click that. 10 out of 10. Okay. Now, I did mention this, but a little bit. But you said, I don't even remember I do remember you saying this. You said graduating into a recession felt like being handed a diploma and a shovel. Tell us more
Cause
about
you,
that.
cause you dead, dog. Like it's
That's
you're
what you
dead,
meant.
dead, dead. Like it feels like here is the things you worked on for so long, and here's how much money it costs, right? So you've earned that. There's your diploma, but now you have to start your whole life from scratch,
Mhm.
and you're actually probably below because we're in a recession. So there's everything is worse. So like you have to start digging because if you don't, you're buried. Like it's I think that you graduating into COVID, me graduating into the recession is such a mind fuck, such a antithesis to the American dream. It's such a like, was this worth it? Did I do this the right
Some people
way?
asking why we be talking mess about America and all that, because it's hard out here.
And you can do every single thing right,
Mm,
everything right, and still come up short.
every
And that's
time.
why. I like for us to run these to have these celebratory moments because there's no guarantee that people like us can have this feeling. Like our whole pod is built on I've had the pleasure of learning this, so I want to help you, right?
Mm,
There are people who have never been in the space to even learn
right.
some of the shit that we've even forgotten. So going back, yeah, you starting off day one, you're like -3. It's like, damn, like I just started. How I'm in negative?
Now
I
I'm
just started.
already below.
I'm already below, right? And for you to graduate into COVID, the world shut down. People don't got jobs. People losing jobs. People losing money, and you're like, yeah. So here's your diploma and a mask.
Literally. I'm like,
Breathe easy. Have a good time. Don't go too fast because we never know how your respiratory rate's going to be. It's like, hold on, say it again. What you mean?
huh?
Yeah. So yeah, it was a bit dramatic, but it was an analogy for you graduated into turmoil. You need all the tools you need to survive.
But you made it out. And I will say, the concrete grows the greatest flowers.
Hmm.
You did survive.
And surviving. Try my
I
best.
about to say
Trying
we
my
all
best.
surviving right now because I don't know what's going on.
Before we talk about what our aspirations are for year two, I want to articulate your growth from the beginning to now.
Lord, is this my what type of growth? What growth?
I'm going to ask
Let me. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I ain't got no patience.
what are some things that this is not about the pod itself, but this is from 365 days ago. What do you think are some of the differences between how you show up then to how you show up now?
I am much more soft.
Okay.
Tavares knows I'm a hard body. I be real, like,
Big dog.
"Rawr, yeah, yeah, yeah," type. And I've had to learn to like really calm down, like really take a step back, like breathe, realize that I don't have to always be in control, realize that I can allow other people to help and care for me. I am very much so a type A doer, doing it my way. And I
Mhm.
think one of the biggest things that I've recognized specifically in this past year is like, you need people to help you.
Yes,
None
you
of
do.
this can get done in a silo. And if you are doing it alone in a silo, it's going to be a lonely, long, and hard uphill battle. And I realized I had been on the uphill battle for a while. And, I
Mhm.
had reached a point where I don't know, I just felt like it was becoming a lot for me to continue to do all this stuff. As everyone who's probably listening knows, or if you don't know, I'm also highly anxious. I have recently gotten medicated. Thank you, Lord. Okay. So that's a difference too. I just feel inherently more calm, but I've also tried to, match my actions to that as much as I can by like really just taking time to practice gratitude, like telling people that I'm grateful for them, taking
That's
time to
what's up.
just step back and again allow people to like do for me. So I've also become better at communicating. I'm more vocal. I've always been authentic, but I feel like I've gotten even more authentic and honest. And so
Mhm.
I'm proud of myself. I've come a long way.
That's what's up. One more question. So that's the personal. How has your professional brand expanded from a year ago?
Great question. Well, I think I'm up about 20,000 followers this year. Something
Fire.
like that. I've been able to, partner with some amazing schools and some amazing organizations to speak, to do
Mhm.
paid engagements. That's been really nice for me. I'm still working on expanding my brand, but it definitely has been just amazing to see my professional brand grow both at work and not at. I've also
Right.
gotten some amazing opportunities at work. I've been promoted. I
Okay.
got to work with some various teams. I've got to do some new projects that have never been done before, being able to lead some stuff. So, really just grateful to see that people have noticed my value both inside and outside of work and really working on myself to like make sure I realize that value within myself as well.
And didn't you interview our chief people officer at
Oh
work?
yeah, I did do that.
Sure did.
I forgot about that. Like I did interview our
Crazy.
CHRO or
Crazy.
CPO. CH. What's her thing?
Whatever she is, she over people. She do the people thing.
Okay, she do the people thing. But yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely. Ooh, 2025. Ah,
Nah, but that's something for you to reflect on. That it's recorded, so
did this on
if you
purpose so
ever,
that I would.
I
Yeah,
did,
I know.
yeah. So
I know what you were doing.
if you ever think about like I'm having a bad day, I'm not doing shit. Like, nah, turn this shit back on so you can see what you
Look,
accomplished in the
turn
year.
it up. Turn it up.
Right. Get the
Period.
timestamp ready.
Okay, let me make sure I'm looking. Got it. Okay. All right, Shavar. So we're heading into year two. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've been rocking for this first year, but now we about to turn up the heat. Like it's time for us
Yeah.
to really cook. So we got to talk about what is next and also what is not next. Because some of the stuff that we've done, we may not want to bring into year two. And I just want us to really, reflect on what do we want this to look like. So first, let me say what's not coming with us into year two. What are we leaving behind in year one? Like
We
that
ain't bringing
girl
no we
that
ain't
be on
bringing
the
no
step.
bullshit. Oh, shorty with the steps.
Yeah, what did
Oh, we need that visual.
we gonna
So
put it in there?
we leaving bullshit behind, right? We
Clock it.
leaving imposter syndrome down there. We're not
Oof,
bringing that,
that one
right?
down
We're
there
not
though.
bringing none of that. We also not bringing inauthenticity. We come in strong and we come in exactly who we are. Um, and we're leaving insecurity too. Like we're not. That's not.
Yeah, I gotta cut off.
We manifesting big shit. This season of our lives in the pod is all about going bigger, more eyeballs, more ears, more stages, more conversations, uh, more influence,
Hmm.
more conferences, more moderation, more money, more brands, more partnerships, big, everything more notoriety, more books to be sold. You know what I mean? More Taylor tips,
Okay.
all the things.
That's what
I think it's
Taylor.
we're going bigger. We're going bigger. That's what we're bringing into year two.
Okay, well, it seems like you answered both questions. You went from what we not bringing to what we are bringing. Okay, so got
Yeah, I
it.
couldn't help it. I couldn't
You,
help it.
but no, you manifested that for us. So let's go ahead and put that out there because those are all the things that we do want too.
The pendulum. I had this way. I couldn't answer
One
and
without
not.
the other.
I just
Valid.
couldn't do it.
Valid.
In the podcast space, though, specifically, what are your hopes for us in year two?
I think you already said a lot of it for me, but number one, I really want us to. We got to use that studio you got downstairs. We did in the
Yes, yes, yes,
beginning,
yes.
but I got to make that trip back up to New Jersey to get in
Mm-hmm.
that studio so that we can film. So number one, I definitely want us to do some more in person episodes. Number two, when it comes to in person, I feel like we would eat on a stage, like
Yeah,
really sitting
easy.
up there moderating a conversation. I recently went to CultureCon and being
Okay,
able to like see the people moderate, I was like, bro, me and Travaris would eat that
facts,
up. We would eat that up.
facts.
Can you hear that? Okay, good. The ambulance going off real loud. Anyway, as I was saying, Travaris and I would eat up moderating on a stage, like really being the person that's running these panels. So that's also what I want to see come for us. And I would say, a couple other things is just really being consistent. This is my doing on social media, like really growing, really
Mm-hmm.
pushing our content out there. I really think, not I think, I know that we have a good product. It's just all
Yes.
about marketing, expansion, exposure.
Yeah.
I really think we could take this to the next level because, quite frankly, I don't know anybody that's. I don't know if y'all know somebody that's doing this. Y'all let us know. But I don't really know anyone that's like in this type of same niche. Yeah, I don't really think.
Not that look like us, not that's
Yeah,
actually doing it. There may have been people who used to work in corporate,
yeah, but
right?
like not our generational
Nah,
differences. Like, not. I
nah.
don't. I don't
Mm-mm.
really think I've seen that.
I
So I
don't
think
think
what we have
so.
is something that's unique, and I'm excited for it to go to the next level.
And I think that when we year two, I don't know what the word is, because in a strange way, podcast has turned into this word that is like nasty. Like people don't want to be
Yeah,
associated with a podcast. Look,
it's because the men ruined it.
yeah, it's I ain't gonna hold
Ruin
you.
everything. Sorry to
Yeah,
y'all.
I can't co-sign that last part, but they did ruin the podcast space and talking because niggas ain't. Okay, pardon me. I'm sorry. I'm about to get up beside myself. About to go a little crazy. But we're going to continue to evolve and elevate and expand and continue to bring you things that are important to you. Maybe the season 2 gives us some opportunity to give you some written
Not season 2,
manuals.
year 2.
Year 2,
It's
my bad.
season 3.
My bad. Shit, about to be season 4.
Okay.
Maybe year 2 gives us opportunity to give y'all some manuals and some things, some handbooks, some things that you all can use on your
Tangible.
day to day. Yeah, that you can touch and feel.
Y'all know
But
Travarus writing
yeah,
books nowadays.
I am. I'm an author. I'm an author. Speaking of October and November 11th, My Shining Star comes out on Amazon. Links
We'll
will be
link it.
everywhere.
We gonna link it. They got
Sit down
pre-order?
with Taylor. No pre-order. They just pull up the day of. You know what I mean? If you now you can get into my brain a little bit. So 11/11 is my wedding anniversary. It also is the time that my daughter was born. 11/11 a.m. And her first and middle name has 11 letters. And 11/11, what happens? People usually make a wish. Wish upon a star. The book is called My Shining Star. Yeah.
Oh,
So all of the
put
11s,
that
all of
all
the
together.
things.
So y'all ain't
Yeah.
even think about that. Wow.
They ain't even in
I ain't
tune.
even
So
get that. Okay.
I'm super excited though. I'm super excited for all things we got going on in year 2. And who would have thought that you would be doing all the things you're doing so soon, and for me to fucking write a book a year ago? I didn't see it, for me at least. So here we are.
Cheers to it. If y'all drinking your coffee right now, if y'all drinking
Mhm.
a margarita right now, if y'all got a
Put
shot in
one
your
up.
even if you got some, I got sparkling water in my cup.
I got some flat water.
Cheers to year
Cheers.
2, everyone.
Popping bottles like a dad does at nighttime.
Y'all, he still got a whole bottle of 1942. Where's the Dom Perignon? He got something
Dom
that he
Perignon. I
ain't
got
never
3 of
opened.
them. You know what? I should open for the book. I probably won't, but I should.
Them bottles gonna be there till you dead.
But thank you all for listening. We appreciate you rocking with us for the entire year 1. If you are new here, continue to rock with us into year 2. If you are OG, let us know in the comments that you have been here from day 1, whether this is Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Let us hear your voice because we would love to continue to connect with you. And with that, we will see you next week.